You can be Bruce Lee. So that was his take. He didn't want to be, he wanted to just emanate.
Ah, man. Tell me what, just for those who don't know, Brett Shand is the fight and stunt coordinator,
And
correct?
second director. Yeah.
Yes. Dude, why? Tell me why this came about, why this project came about.
Let's see. So Bruce Lee had written this like template of these notes a long time ago, and he pitched it to Warner Brothers. Um, back then it was really hard because they were like, well, there's no way, white America is going to follow an Asian lead, and no one really knew Bruce Lee at the time. I mean, he was kind of big in Asia, but that was it. So then they made Kung Fu, and it was a little heartbreaking for him, and it was shelved. But, after he passed away, his daughter, I guess 30 years later, or 40 years later, actually, I think she's going through all the boxes of all the stuff. She found these notes that he had made, and it was for the show Warrior. So she approached Justin Lin, Fast and the Furious, and all those, Justin Lin and Star Trek and stuff like that. And then they approached Jonathan Tropper, who did Banshee, and he's now doing C with Jason Momoa. Anyway, so they came up with this crazy plan, and it worked out. I, at the time, was on a movie called Skyscraper, but this came up, and how often are you ever going to be asked to be part of something that's Bruce Lee's legacy, which is historic on its own?
Right.
And Justin Lin talking to you, and Jonathan Tropper, and then Shannon Lee, I mean, Bruce Lee's daughter, it was just amazing. So the story came up, and they asked me if I want to be part of it. I said, hell yeah. Sure. My only concern was, you also obviously want to make sure that whatever you do regarding Bruce Lee is it's got to be good. So that was my trying thing. Like, oh man, this better be good, because the one show I did prior to that, it was another epic, legendary thing, and you just can't. You have to get the right ingredients. You have the right actor, you have the right writers, you have the right. So this was very, very promising, and everyone was very collaborative. So it was awesome.
I think cool. that you guys captured the time era, the costumes, the cinematography, everything was very, down to the mannerisms that people had, their attitudes towards the Asians. There weren't Asian Americans at the time, but how they had their attitudes. You guys captured this so perfect.
Well, Jonathan Tropper, he's a huge martial artist. He's like and actually, it's funny because he hadn't touched nunchucks in like 15 years, and he goes, yeah, I can do it. And, he's a very unassuming guy. You look at him, he's a little bit older now, and he doesn't look like he'd be like, and he picked up his nunchucks. He's like, I was like, holy crap, man, that was crazy. And JT was, and he's a huge fan of the grittiness of stuff. And you can tell by Banshee, if you watch Banshee, he doesn't pull any punches. It's like full on real stuff. Like, this is the real world. This is like, he's breaking your neck here. He's doing this to your arm. Your fingers are coming off, or whatever it is. And so he gave me free reins to kind of create a lot of things there. And, Justin Lin had a whole tone of the show he kind of wanted to follow. So they collaborated. And this show was probably one of in my 25, 26 years of my career, this is one of my quintessential top show. This show, from the production, all the PAs, all the production crew, the producers, the writers were fantastic. Like, the writing was so great. The actors, this is one show where every single actor, I had to kick them out of my training room because they were there all the time.
Yeah.
You had Dean Leary, you had Joe Taslim, Diane, Olivia, you had Andrew, you had everyone was just ear itching to be in there. Kieran Bew, such strong actors, and it was fantastic.
You had on one side, you had the martial arts. But what caught my attention the most too was the fact that you also got into